because, yes, the recording will be available for further reference. Okay, I think we're good to go. So welcome again. I'm going to take the next few minutes to just do overview walkthrough of using Screencast-O-Matic. So I'll go ahead and share my screen. And Screencast-O-Matic, first of all, I'm going to show you the free version. I'm going to go ahead and drop that in the chat, the link to the Screencast-O-Matic website. You can also just Google search Screencast-O-Matic, it'll take you right to it. And you can go ahead and sign up for the free version. So I already have that set up and ready to go. So that's the first step, download it, okay? I also wanted to show you, now I work on a Mac, some of you might work on a PC, but either way, you might have the option of dropping the application somewhere that is easy to reach. Okay, hold on a second. Because I need to find it if I'm going to do the demo. How come I'm not finding it now? Oh my goodness. Screencast. All right, so I'm not sure what happened. So I'm going to go ahead and just, let me see if I have to just, let me just sign in with Google. Right, launch recorder. Okay. All right, so open in Screencast-O-Matic. All right, so at least you could see, like in the middle of a little bit of a issue I ran into, I still can go to the website and launch the recorder. But the idea is that once you've already downloaded the free version, you should be able to find it on your device already. But at least you can always go to the website. So at least I could demonstrate that issue. All right, and then you see down here in the dock, it automatically dropped a quick access to Screencast. So now, once you open up to launch the recorder, the idea is to record what you have on your screen. So right now what you'll see is a frame that I've already fit. I've already fit my web browser into the frame, okay? So that's the idea, all right? You can use your arrows to do what you need to do to get that in the frame. I'll talk more about that in a second. So now Screencast is downloaded, it's ready to go. So here are a couple items to think about before you start with your screencast recording. The first thing is that you want to decide what's the purpose of recording the screen, okay? So in my course, I'm just showing one of my courses, History of Rock and Roll class that I teach. You'll see that I have a video that I don't need a screencast for. It's just me welcoming students, and I just use my iPhone. But over here on the course navigation page in my orientation module, I have a video where I walk through the course. And this is primarily what I'm using screencast recordings for nowadays, is to walk through Canvas so that students or participants can see what I'm doing. I also had the idea, and I know Michelle has already presented a lot of ideas to everyone, but I thought, you know, if I wanted to look for maybe like a diagram of a guitar and just talk over it as students can see on the screen through my narration what I'm presenting. I can do that as well. So, and that would, maybe if you're teaching, science or math or, or art history, you just decide what you have to show them for the screencast. Okay, so the next thing I want to say is I want to talk a little bit about your environment. Okay, so there's two environments that you want to think about ahead of time and prepare. First of all is the visual environment. So if I'm going to record the parts of these two guitars, I want visually, I already know that this frame is all that they'll see in the video. So I want everything that they see visually to not be distracting, but to be focused on what I want them to see. So first of all, if you look at the very top here, I have a lot of tabs open. Sometimes we're in the habit of keeping our emails open, but for sake of this video, I'm going to close that. My calendar, I'm going to close that. At this point, I don't need the screencast. I'm going to use YouTube for later. I don't need that for now. So maybe I have a couple tabs here. I have my search. Okay, I don't need the slides for today's presentation. So I'm really cleaning up so that they just have the focus. The next thing is that I have bookmarks, right? So if you don't know already, you can go to the three-dot menu. I'm working in Chrome, and you can go to bookmarks and deselect showing the bookmarks bar. So see already, just those couple of adjustments, now my visual environment is much cleaner. It's much more, if I may use the word accessible, right? It helps visually those who are looking at what you're showing to have a better focus, right? The next environment is the sound environment. Now, I happen to be in a room that is partially treated, so that sound is not really bouncing around a lot. Also, it's not outdoors, so I don't have an issue of like wind that might be blowing into the microphone and whatnot. Now, some tricks that you can use is if you are doing a screen recording and you're not recording yourself through a webcam, maybe go into a walk-in closet or something like that. Got a lot of clothes in there, so it focuses the sound. When you hear things that are very echoey, the sound, your voice can tend to get lost. So even if you're using a built-in mic, keeping that in mind, being in a room that's smaller, and also think about, if possible, right? Think about the time of day that you're recording. You know, if you have the trash truck is coming through, lawnmower is going, you just take note of that and say, maybe I just need to get up a little bit earlier when things are quieter, things like that. So all of that is very helpful. Okay, so I have that in place. Let's go ahead and look at Screencast itself, all right? Once you have the Screencast-O-Matic environment ready to go, you'll see this, this box. And at the top, you have a choice of recording just the screen. So as you can see, my webcam is not showing. The webcam by itself, it in a way defeats the purpose of using the Screencast-O-Matic, but that is an option. Or you can use both.
He's so cute, Will.
And then you have the webcam, the small frame of yourself, right? So I'm going to go ahead and go with that option, but just know that you can choose just recording the screen. Okay, this is just, the max time is just letting you know that the free version is a 15-minute limit. But again, it is good to keep it shorter. It's just a good practice. Sometimes you might need to extend it out. But just to let you know, if you did need to record a video that goes longer than 15 minutes, you'll need to get the one of the purchased versions. The size of the video, I go with 1080. 3 or so years ago, we would say to go with 720, but nowadays the technology has sort of caught up. So a 1080 frame works really well. And when we get to the point where I'll demonstrate uploading it to YouTube, it's a really good fit for the YouTube environment. And then your microphone, right? And as you see I'm talking, you'll see that the levels are matching my sound. So I know that it's picking up my narration before I start recording. If I select the arrow, it will find whatever microphones you have available. So if you do end up buying a USB microphone, just know that you'll need to go in here and possibly switch it over if it didn't automatically do that. But at the very least, you have the built-in microphone that it defaults to. And then, right, your computer audio. If you had something that you were showing on your screen that's actually playing sound from your computer, you would need to get the purchase version to do that. So the free version will only capture what the microphone captures. Now, if you did want to add, like, let's say some background music or something, then you'd have to MacGyver it and, you know, have a little audio player and try to get it to where your built-in mic will pick that up at a good level, okay? All right, so we're not getting too much into preferences. The default preferences will work just fine. So now we're ready to get started. So you will see the record button, the bright red round button. And once you click record, it's going to give you a countdown like you're a movie director. And what I do is as it's counting down, I'll actually go and click into the environment that I want to record. So that's a little trick that I discovered. So I'm going to go ahead and select record, and then I'm going to go ahead and click into Chrome. So now it's recording. And I know it's recording because I see the minutes and seconds progressing. So now I'm talking through the video and I'm saying, okay, welcome, rock scholars. Let's take a look at these guitars, acoustic guitar, electric guitar. Let's talk about some of the components. And, you know, we're talking about the main parts of the guitar, and I'm doing my narration. Maybe I'm going to click over to another tab and I'm going to scroll a little bit. I'm going to say, okay, let's, you know, here's a page and so on and so forth. Okay, so now I have captured my video. When I'm finished, all I need to do is select the pause button. So now once that is paused, I can see that I got up to 51 seconds. Now I'm going to go over and I'm going to select done. Okay, now if you did need to or felt like you needed to just trash the video and start over, you could delete it, but you also have that option after you select done. Okay, so now I'm going to select done. What's next is to save and upload the video. That's the option that I recommend. I mean, anything that you can do with a quick share and editing video here, you can do it by first saving and uploading. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. And now it gives me options. This is a preview of the video I just recorded. So I can press play. So now it's recording. And I know it's recording because I see the, and you may or may not have heard it because I don't think I shared sound as I'm screen sharing with you on Zoom, okay? But I did hear sound. So I say, all right, it's good to go. So now my top option here is to save as a video file. You also have the option of uploading to Screencast-O-Matic's website. I'm not sure the limitations that you might have for the free version because I always save the video file. I think it's the safest bet. You always have that file available. You can also upload it directly to YouTube or upload it to your Google Drive. But again, you can do that after you save the video file. So I highly recommend that that's what you do. So I'm going to go ahead and select save the video file. And then I'm just going to go down each option. Okay, it's an MP4 video. I have other options, but MP4 is pretty universal. The file name, I select that. It'll default to the recording number. So this is the 5th recording that I've done since I downloaded Screencast-O-Matic. So I'm going to say guitar components, give it a name. You can choose where, if you have a specific folder on your device to keep it. All right, you can highlight the cursor, right? Anytime you're clicking with, you're moving the cursor with your mouse, or it'll highlight, or you can have it where it doesn't highlight, okay? So you have that option. And then open captions, we recommend no open captions, because to make your videos accessible for your classes online, they need to be closed captioned. And that's, you can edit your captions in YouTube. So that's your best way to have proper captions. Okay, so I'm all done. So now I select publish, and it's now downloading the video. So once the video is downloaded, then the next step is to upload the video into a hosting device. And you know what? Let me take a look at the chat, because I'm seeing here. Just want to make sure. Okay, so any changes to my max setting to prepare for the recording? It's possible that if that Screencast-O-Matic, in fact, I believe when you first download it, it will ask
I'm doing a
to allow
video right now.
Now, this brings up a bigger question for you.
Okay. Once you first downloaded Screencast, it will ask for permission to access your microphone on your device. So that did come up when I first downloaded Screencast. Okay. Yes. Thank you, Amy. You answered the question also. Awesome. All right, so it's all done. Okay, and it looks like it just sent me to the Screencast website, but it might be hidden from where you see it, but here's the video on my desktop. So let me go ahead and move over to YouTube now. And as Michelle mentioned, if you don't already have a YouTube account, it's simply setting up a Google account, which can start with just getting a Gmail. So once you have that, then in YouTube, they have changed it in the past couple years to this convenient create button with the camera icon. You just select that and then upload video. And now I'm a drag and drop kind of person when it comes to this, or you can select files this way, but I have the video right here and I will bring it in if my trackpad is working correctly. So now it's recording, and I know it's recording. Okay, so I'm not going to drag and drop because my trackpad is not behaving. So I'm going to select files, and there's my video. Open it up. Let me try that again. Open. Okay, there we go. So now it's uploading. Okay. So you can go through and give it the title, a description, and go on through and make those. This is all available on a tutorial that we have for uploading to YouTube, but I'm just quickly going through this. and I select next. I want it to be public. Know that with privacy settings with YouTube, if it's private, you'd have to send it to people directly with the YouTube link, the URL. If it's unlisted, exactly what it says, no one will find it. You'd have to have the exact URL. And then there's public, right? So public is typically the way that we go with that. And then you can select publish and it'll let you know if it's still uploading. The video was short, so it was very quick. So now here's the link. So I'm going to go ahead and select the link. So now it's recorded. Okay, so now there's my video in YouTube. Okay, the next thing I can do is go to the edit video button. Because you are the one who uploaded it into your YouTube account, you have this option of editing your own video. So when I select that, I'll go to subtitles. And then in here, this English is the auto-generated. So eventually that's going to show up. And then that's where once it finishes rendering, then it'll give you the option to edit those captions. And the editing field it's a lot easier than it used to be. It's just like almost like working in a Word document, and you can put in correct spelling, punctuation, capitalization, and then publish that. And then once that's published, you can delete the auto-generated, so then it automatically will update to your YouTube video. So the last thing I'm going to show you here is, well, let me close this and go back to the YouTube video. So now it's recorded, and I'm going to show you how to embed it into Canvas. So I'm going to go to the share button at the bottom of the video, and I'm going to select the embed option. And here is the HTML code that will embed your video. So I'm going to just select the copy button. And then I'm going to go to a Canvas page. And I edit the Canvas page. You can also bring it into a Canvas assignment, a Canvas discussion. And let's say I want the video to follow this paragraph. So I hit the enter button. And Canvas has this convenient embed tool that you can use. So I just select that. And then I go to the embed code and I paste it. All right. Now it defaults to a height and width, but I'm going to throw this in, as I always do when I'm talking about these things, that I keep the ratio 560 to 315, but I reduce it to 400 by 225. And if you ask why, it's because on the mobile app, the 400 is typically the width of the mobile app, so it just fits really well. And on a desktop, it also is a good size, right? If you kept the 560 on the mobile app, you'd have to do some left and right scrolling. So it's just a little trick that when I was trying to design better for the mobile app, that's what I ended up with. So I go ahead and save my video, and I'm done. So I went from going through Screencast-O-Matic, uploading to YouTube, theoretically already editing the captions, and then finally I have the video in my Canvas page, and we're all happy. So, all right, Neela, you have a question.
So I have been using QuickTime on Mac, and you're a Mac user.
Yes.
So I'm just wondering, is it that much different, or would you recommend using screen capture rather than QuickTime?
So either way. In fact, for me on a Mac like you, QuickTime actually is more convenient for me. So as you can see, I ran into a couple glitches with Screencast.
Yes.
So I would just go ahead and stay with QuickTime. Where I would use Screencast-O-Matic is in the paid version. they have a script mode where you can actually write out your script and read it right on your screen. And just by a click of a button, you can move from one frame to the next. And it just opens up to record as you're reading your script. And then you hit the next button and it pauses for a second. And then it'll give you a green light to start reading again. So it's kind of serving as like almost like a movie director behind camera.
Right.
So that's where I would say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and use the screencast tool. So
Okay, so I have one more question, Sean. Thank you for this. It's awesome. Do you know if the memory issue with phones? So I have a lot of ESL students, and I usually use QuickTime to show them how to write different kinds of sentences, and I'm always worried a little bit about how much memory is being taken up with these things on their phone. Do you have a sense of that?
So let's see, with my, let's see, it's an iPhone 10. I think I got the 256 gigabyte. And I also have it where it can upload to my iCloud. And I think I pay extra to get more storage space. But this is what I would recommend. If you have minimal memory that you're working with, I would recommend once the video is recorded in your phone, then go ahead and move it immediately to a device like a desktop or laptop that has a lot more space, and then go ahead and delete it off of your phone.
Thank you.
That's what I would recommend for that. So. And anyone else, any questions that anyone else may have? You know, once you, I'm not sure where everyone is at, if you've already been doing these screencast recordings, or if you're just starting out, just let you know that it's a great, once you really have your process down, it's a real go-to with online learning. It really helps in so many ways. I'm sure that you'll come up with a lot of ideas to really further help your students grasp whatever it is that that you want them to learn in your classes. So, and we'll head back to the big room. She said at 11:50. So I'll just kind of hang out here for the next minute or so, and I'll see you all over there. Thank you all for joining me.